Hi guys, my name is Anna and this is my first speed draw. It's also my first digital drawing that I have ever done. I just recently got a new computer or like a laptop for my uni. And it has a touchscreen, and I was really excited to start digital drawing because I have never done it before and I always wanted to, but I never had the means to do so. So yeah, this is really exciting for me. And this is Fanart of Drawtectives. If you don't know, Drawtectives is a YouTube series by Julia from Drawfee. Like, she made it all by herself and then got the other people from Drawfee in to play with her. And it's really fun. You should check it out if you haven't. And without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, I started recording after I sketched out all the characters and colored, I think, most of them in, like the flats I colored in. So yeah, here I'm just showing you the sketches that I made. I had a lot of trouble with Eugene and Jancy, particularly because Julia is so good at anatomy and drawing people that I had a hard time. I had a harder time with that just because you know when it looks wrong. I'm really proud of Grandma and York. Like, I think they turned out really great. And as you can see there for a moment, I used like another website to show me how the anatomy would work of York standing in that position. So yeah, I just used the website to position a 3D model in that way, then screenshotted it and put it in as a reference. I did trace over it first and then did it again by hand. That's something Jacob taught in one of the drawing lessons, and it really helps. Yeah, so yeah, this is how far I got before starting recording. And yeah, there you can see there's like Grandma holding a mirror, but I didn't end up using that sketch at all. I wanted like to have her look at us at themselves and be like, oh, I look so pretty, because my canon in my head was like that they got inspired by Eugene's makeup, and that they really wanted to try it out and they really liked it. And yeah, so here I'm coloring in the eyes. Yeah, I didn't really have a concept going into this. I just knew I wanted to draw Drawtectives fan art, so I started out by just drawing the characters in fun positions that I wanted. I sketched Jancy first, actually. Yeah, and now I'm coloring in her jacket, and I really wanted the last season to affect her character design. So she has a little yellow in her coat as a reference to what she wore in Garville. Like, there's a little character change that she was like, oh, maybe I actually like it a little bit more loose. Yeah, I don't know. Rosé just has on a long coat instead of a short one. I don't know why. I just thought, I don't know, I didn't really think about it. But yeah. What else? I took this image from Google because the code just was such a pain in the ass, especially the color, and yeah, like the back of the color, it was really, yeah, I didn't know how it looked. Yeah, so I just took a reference, which is, have your references, people. Don't let other artists tell you that you can't use references, because you can't learn without looking at other things. It's I don't know why people think that it's like you have to do everything out of your imagination. Like, yeah, you can do that at some point, but you have to learn to actually be able to do that. It's not something that just comes to you. So you have to start with references, and then you learn how to do things out of your imagination. And still then, if you can do that, like, just, you can still use references if you don't know. Like, just, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah. Then I thought it would be fun to show you what I was watching while doing this. I don't really know if it was a good idea or not, but now it is this way, so you have to accept it. Here I was watching Harry James Miller, I think is his name. He's really fun. I just discovered him, I think, the day that I started recording, and he's really funny. Yeah, what else? Since this is my first speed draw or like digital drawing ever, I like have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like kind of drawing and doing things I would normally do on paper, but with the advantage that you can erase shit. So I'm really excited for that. So if you have any tips for me for digital drawing, if you see anything that I'm doing and you're like, oh my god, you are so stupid for doing this, please tell me. I would love to learn and make my life a lot easier. The biggest problem I had was like these, as you can see, like these dots on the screen where my hand rested, or like the pen was in the wrong spot or something. I don't know, like things you have to erase that I didn't really draw on, like the spots on her eyebrow and on her nose. That was really problematic for me, because after I was finished with like a layer, I needed to go through all the layers to see where these dots were, so I could erase them. Yeah, but I mean, I managed, it's fine. But it was really annoying. Then, as you can see, I watched Anna Marie. She's one of my favorite creators right now. She's also really fun and cute. Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah, I spent like the majority of this time that I was recording on Jancy's face, because I was so unhappy with it. As I said before, that I had a big struggle with Eugene and Jancy, and with Jancy the most because she was in the foreground. And I didn't like the way her face looked for a long time, until I just accepted that it was what it was. Like, nothing is perfect. Sometimes you just need to accept shit. Yeah. So yeah, like these dots, you see what I mean? I don't know. It's really, I don't know how to avoid that. And then I watch a lot of SSS. I think the most videos that I watch you will see is SSS streams. And then I stopped recording YouTube because I thought maybe this is not such a good idea, but I will go back to it later. I don't know. I can't decide. Here we go. Yeah, what else is there to say? I don't know. I'm coloring in everything. When it comes to the background, I can tell you a little bit more about what I have in my mind, about what they're actually doing right now. It all came to me like as I was drawing. I didn't really have, like I said, a big plan beforehand. I just wanted to draw them, and I thought they were cute. And yeah. Also, which was actually not a good idea, was that I drew in the shadows of the characters before I drew the environment. So the shadows and the lighting is a lot off. So yeah, but you will see. So here I'm drawing in a pattern on Jancy's scope because, like I said, I wanted her to be like loose a little bit. But I ended up just taking one like flower that I made and copying all over, and then redrawing them later, so that I could get the base pattern down and then make it pretty afterwards. Yeah. So I was doing that, and fun fact is that I name my layers because, like, at least in this drawing I did, because there were a lot of them, and if they all were numbers, I would have not have known where I was. So every time I said or I wrote Jancy something, it always would autocorrect to Fancy. So I just stuck with it and just wrote Fancy after a while because I thought it was fun. But yeah, here I'm still doing Jancy. Like, I really had a really hard time with her. I don't even know how long it took. It was a couple of hours. And this is over multiple days. This is not only one day. This is I don't know how many days. I think like 6 or 5 or 6 maybe. So yeah. I don't know, I'm drawing shadows, man. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the shadows on Jancy because it's a human face, and human faces are really, really, really hard to make believable. I mean, not believable because you can recognize it's a human face, but to be recognizable as a specific character. And I just wound up being like, okay, let me just do the highlighting first, which this shaped the way I lit everything. I did a lot of room lighting and like this kind of lighting style. I don't know what it's called, honestly. And I thought her mouth looked so empty, so I used Jacob's anatomy lesson, like anatomy shorthands, to draw out her lips and see where the shadow would lie and where the highlight would be. That really helped a lot. I don't know, I'm really just experimenting. I think I'm gonna delete this also again, and yeah, it's really half the video is Jancy's face, and I'm sorry for that, kind of, not really, but I just needed to work on it a long time before I was happy with it, and that's just sometimes how it is. You just need to work through it and find something that makes you happy and build on that. And if you hate it, delete your art. You know the drill. Delete your art. So her nose was also a problem for me because I wanted it to be more defined, but it also kind of didn't fit her face. I think I still am going to define her nose more, but Then I wanted to show that she's older with like wrinkles, but it also didn't look right, because I need to work on my anatomy. I don't know. I just wasn't happy with anything I was doing. I think I picked like the wrong colors and I didn't really know where the lines would go. So that's something I need to work on, especially like human faces and the like aging of skin is something that I need to learn. I feel like this is not that exciting. Maybe I will cut out some of this. Oh yeah, then I thought her eyes looked really, really, really weird, so I reworked them a little bit to have a waterline. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm talking weird. English is not my native language, and I rarely ever talk for this long in English, so it might be a little weird towards the end because my muscles. But yeah, so now I'm coloring her hair, and this also took me a while. I wanted the front of the hair, like the big part, to actually be behind the rest of the hair, but I didn't know how to lay the shadow on the hair so that it looks like that. I really don't know. So I just experimented a lot, and I eventually landed on something that I found, interesting to look at, like just not basic, I guess. And here I thought Jancy looked weird because she didn't have an eye color, but turns out she just has black eyes. But I still wanted there to be a little bit more to her eyes, so I added some lashes. Oh yeah, and here I deleted everything again and started. Oh wow, yeah. This is delete your art process. You know it. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't know if I want to shorten it because, this is how art works. Like you just sometimes have one thing that you rework over and over and over and over and over again. But I guess if you want to skip ahead, I will leave a timestamp in the video so that you don't have to look at the same thing over and over again. Is this what I'm landing on? I forgot. I think I won't delete her face again, or like a shadow. Well, I think you can feel that this is my first digital drawing because I don't know what I'm doing. But I think this is where I stopped doing Jancy, right? Like naming, yeah, now I'm going on to Rosé. Woohoo! Party! There's a new thing in town. I'm actually doing York Shadow now. I'm really proud of York. I drew York a lot before because he's a hottie, and because he's just a cute orc, and I don't know, he's really distinct. I think he's a lot easier to draw than the other characters, except for Grandma. Like, Grandma is also really easy to draw, which not like easy in a way that it like is fast or like or very uncomplicated, but more like they are so distinct and they have so distinct features that you just know how to do it. I don't know, does that make sense? It does to me. Yeah, and I'm really, really proud of the hand. Like, that was my masterpiece. I also had drawn another hand before this where I got the pose drastically wrong, but I drew a hand without reference, and that was, I think, the first time that I ever thought that I did a hand really good. And I have a layer in here that's called York Hand RIP because I couldn't use it in the end, but I thought it was so good. But yeah, now I'm on to Grandma and shading her things. So yeah, she is just so sweet little droid. And yeah, I love the evolution of the Drawtectives. Like, not that there's been like amazing evolution or anything, but I just like they go with the flow, and yeah, whatever, it's fine. I really enjoy that vibe when I'm watching Drawtectives because it's a nice relaxing time to have fun with, and it really cheers me up when I watch it. So yeah, here's Grandma. They have some makeup on because especially the pink eyeliner was inspired by Eugene from the last season. I think she took a lot of inspiration from that. And here I am shading Jancy once again, but drawing the highlights. Yeah, from like, originally you can see where I wanted the light to come from. So it was in the upper left corner, but yeah, that changes over time, but you're gonna see. But here I was just like trying to put in the highlights that I thought actually turned out really well. I really like the dramatic lighting that I did. Yeah, I didn't really spend much time on Rosé, I feel like on any other character I spend more time, but I don't know, Rosé just kind of happened and just felt right. I think because I'm very used to drawing female characters, so maybe that just was faster, and she isn't that much in the foreground, so it was easier to hide like details. So yeah. I really like York's earrings. I don't know, I just like that he has earrings. I think it looks really good on him. And yeah, I don't know, his eyebrows are so big. He's like such pretty eyebrows. I wanted York to have on a coat, but I didn't include like an undershirt or anything. Maybe I should have, because now it just looks like he has like a naked coat on, but maybe York could do that, honestly. He could rock it. Like nothing underneath that coat. I think that'd be awesome for him. Yeah, or like just just like a net, like a net shirt under this coat, he could rock it. He would rock it hard. So yeah, I'm just shading. Eugene actually ends up flipping. I end up flipping Eugene to look the other way. There it is. Because it didn't look right. And I think that was something that I forgot to record, flipping Eugene and like fixing how he looked. The composition was all wrong. Like, I wanted them to look at Jancy because I thought she was like seeing something and then turning around and they're like, what are you seeing, Jancy, you know? And at first I wanted Eugene to be like also seeing it, like they're like maybe on the same level, but then I was like, nah, our little son can't be that. Jancy needs to be the one who notices shit. Eugene is a dumb little boy. Yeah. So they're all looking to Jancy, and Rosé is the only one that's looking at the at us, and I have no reason for that. So now I'm drawing the background. I drew in the silhouettes, and my first idea was like, okay, they're like at York's fashion show and they're about to walk like out on the stage, but York is bringing them up onto the stage, like oh, this is my family. I don't know why he would do that, but I thought that it would be cute. But then I kind of didn't like that idea, but I liked the composition of like there being a tunnel kind of thing. So I wanted them to be in like in an alleyway. I don't know, maybe they're like out in town and like detectiving, and they're going down this alleyway. And at first I wanted it to be like they're going through an alleyway to come out the other side, and there's a carnival, and that's where they're going to investigate. But I didn't end up going, I kind of ended up going with that idea, but not really. I didn't specify there was a carnival. I just wanted there to be like balloons and like these flags. So they would come out the other side, and there'd be like a new vibe. Like the last seasons were all at night, and I wanted them to at this point I wanted it to be in daytime, but I'll talk later about what happened. Because that didn't end up like, they end up at nighttime. And yeah, so now I'm erasing the silhouettes and not bringing back the characters yet, but yeah, I wanted to do a real Julia one, actually. I wanted to be really precise with how the angles looked and where they went, and I just wanted it to be really good, like a Drawtectives background would be. But I'm not Julia, sadly. So I didn't mess it up. I think it looked really good, and I put a lot of work into these lines. But in the end, I didn't end up liking the look with lines, so I ended up deleting the lines of the background, so it's just more like of a painterly style. You can see how much time I spent on this. I really wanted it to be correct, and I even drew like reference lines. But yeah, in the end, I'm just not Julia yet. I'm not at her level yet. I want to be, but I'm not. Yeah, Julia is like my spirit animal from the Drawtectives. Like, she's me, actually. And here I wanted to draw. I don't know what's it called in English. In English, it's a. I don't know what it's called, but the thing you go out to, and like, I don't know, smokers can have a smoke on and whatever. So yeah, thank you so much. Background. It's the end scroll from season 2. as you can see, I really like Drawtectives. Here I was just watching Julia Souls, having fun, drawing. Wow. Yeah, I didn't end up going with the design of there being like a plateau that you can go out on, and then there's a railing, but I ended up just drawing railings in front of the windows basically. Yeah, here you can see how hard I wanted it to be symmetrical. And it's really sad for me that I put so much work into this and I didn't end up liking it, but I mean, I guess that's how it is sometimes. Yeah, I don't know, now I'm like drawing in the rough shadows, where the shadows would go, and drawing some extras, like what I want the scene to look like. And of course I wanted there to be a pride flag, because it's me, I don't know, there always needs to be a pride flag. Now I'm drawing the flags, and I ended up copying and pasting the individual flags because I don't know, I wanted them to look the same and not different, so I did that. Yeah, so now I have the line work kind of done. So I wanted, yeah, this was also my original idea, that I didn't draw a background, just a character, but then I was like, I need to draw a background. So yeah, here we go. Drawing the shadows, and now I'm coloring. I'm starting to color. I was experimenting with some texture brushes and finding what I thought was right for the style of the drawing. Like, I wanted it to be a little textured and loose, and here I want the carnival thing that I wanted to incorporate was this with the like hint of a like carousel. But York's head ended up covering it all, so it didn't matter in the end. So it doesn't really have like this hint of carnival. Here you can see I wanted it to be in daytime, but I liked York's hair more against a nighttime sky. It didn't really look that good in front of light blue, but I wanted it to be a really powerful moon, like it's full moon, and it's like, that's why it's lit up so much. I didn't want to redo all the shading work that I've done before, so I was like, it's just a really bright moon, I guess. And I think it worked out okay. Like, you feel that it's not the right lighting, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's fine. Sometimes you just have to accept that it's not gonna be perfect, which I struggle with a lot, honestly, but I am working on it. So this was a part of the workout of trying not to care too much and to not be precious with my art, which is something that I struggle with, but yeah. So this was a nice exercise, and here I'm redoing the whole background, not the whole background, but the night sky. The texture that I went with was like a chalky kind of chalky and crayon-y like texture, and yeah, I just thought it was a fun loose way to contrast like the foreground, but it's like a little bit more clean. And I'm just working on the lighting and drawing in the details in the moment. Yeah, so I drawing in the flags, and I'm going to shade them too. There's just a lot of work to be done. So I flattened in the colors with like the basic like marker tool, I guess, I don't know, and then put in the shadow with the crayon-y kind of texture, and then deleted that to like make the highlights kind of, and then I thought it was still too bright, so I went over it with like this translucent dark blue kind of, so that it would darken the flags a little bit. Drawing in the shading, whatever, it's just a shading. Yeah. Then I took out the team to finalize the background, draw in the details, the plants. Of course, there gotta be plants. It's gotta be nice and green, otherwise it would look boring. Really boring. And I really liked like this kind of overgrown look, like they're going into a town that's kind of not really well taken care of, like they're not in what do they call the in Fancyland? They're not in Fancy Town. They're like in another town, and where it's not like maybe like in a small town where they don't, I don't know where it would be, but they're just not in Fancy Town. Yeah, and drawing here the pride flag. I was really unhappy with it for a long time because it didn't, I don't know, the colors looked a bit wrong, but yeah, that's kind of whatever. I don't know, it's like I said, you have to kind of just accept it at some point, and I think it still looks good. So now I'm drawing the balloons because I wanted that to be a carnival with a lot of balloons and festivities. Yeah, I don't know. This is just someone hanging up some Polaroids on the outdoors. I don't know, maybe it's a dry city where there's not a lot of rain, so they can do that. Now I'm naming a lot of layers. Yeah, then I'm drawing in the railing. Like I said, I went... also had a lot of issues with that with perspective. As you can see, I was like researching reference. Like round things in space are really hard for me to rotate in my mind. So I wanted, and I didn't want it to be like a rectangular railing. I wanted it to be like a round one to give like contrast to the square houses. Here I am drawing some fairy lights, and I think I'm about to be done after this. Oh yeah, no, I'm drawing in like also like a bit of moss and like having like the more overgrown thing. And yeah, I think, oh yeah, this I I thought the characters were too bright for it to be night, so I like put another layer of translucency, like a dark blue shit over them. And it worked a lot. I think it looks a lot better and more cohesive with this over painting. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. And oh yeah, what I forgot to mention, Eugene was inspired by Rosé's little cutout shirt, and he has like this star shit on. And yeah, here is my final piece, and I hope you like it a lot. And yeah, I don't know, tell me what you thought, and if you want to give me some tips and tricks about digital drawing, then I would really appreciate that. But other than that, I don't have anything to say. Watch Drawtectives and support Drawfee. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!